the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Syracuse, Tennessee, Matt Green. Before I do my spiel, what did you take away from the Vols crushing the Orangemen in Mercedes-Benz on Saturday?
I felt like Tennessee, it looked a lot like NC State or Virginia or the other, neutral sited games they've played the last couple years. I feel like they just kind of, Syracuse maybe was a little competitive at times and Tennessee forced some turnovers. But yeah, I felt like, I don't know how much we learned if Tennessee is like legit based on this first game, but I think you definitely saw things you wanted to see. They made some plays defensively. Joey Aguilar, looked solid. So I don't know overall if I have like a real strong take from Tennessee from this game.
That's fair. So I'm still thinking about stuff, and I'm obviously going to talk about it a whole lot more on our radio show here on Monday, 1 to 3, right here on Fox Sports Knoxville. But I understand the Virginia NC State comp, and Tennessee has really had their way with ACC schools the last 4 games now, going back to Clemson in the Orange Bowl. They blew out the Tigers there as well. But I think this one felt different in some ways, where one of my takeaways was Joey Aguilar is definitely has a better grasp of the Heupel offense than Milton and Nico did. And part of that, maybe it's just he's 24, but the tempo was back yesterday. And that was something that you just didn't realize how much you missed it until you saw it. And the fact that he had 2.5 months to get acclimated and to have that kind of tempo and have that kind of chemistry, he was very composed. Like Joey Aguilar, I think, is going to be a cool, calm, collected 24-year-old who is not rattled by big environments, a lot of pressure. He's just a vet, man. Like, I think he's just 24. And I do think that matters in the sport when you have a difference between like a 19-year-old 5-star kid who can get in his head versus a 24-year-old who's just happy to be there because of how crazy of a college career he's had, Like, he was essentially kicked to the curb by UCLA for Nico, and obviously moving up from JUCO and bouncing around. Like, he has had to fight for everything, and I think he's just enjoying the moment. But I also just think he's real, he's calm, and he managed the game extremely well yesterday. Now, I do think he was not perfect yesterday. I think he missed high on a lot of balls yesterday. Like, he missed some real gimmies, and I don't think that's going to get cleaned up. I think that's just something that's going to be a part of his game. He's 24. I have a hard time believing that is going to change. But he didn't throw any picks. He had one fumble that Syracuse recovered on a bad handoff to Star Thomas. But he made, obviously, the 73-yard bomb to Braylon Staley. That was something you did not see in the NC State game last year. You beat NC State with 2 tight end sets. Like, Tennessee showed something they had not shown before, which was the 12 personnel. Like, that was a new development for the Vols. So, yes, they beat up on NC State last year, but it was a different way. Like, they did not have the passing explosion or the tempo that we saw on Saturday. We did not see that tempo at all under Joe Milton in 23 either, even against Virginia. So I think that's a positive. I think the offensive line showed in a big way, and David Sanders wasn't even able to go. So your offensive line, you gave up 0 sacks yesterday. You ran all over them again. You knew you were going to run the ball, but you have that. I think not using the tight ends was interesting. Like, there's a whole heck of a lot of talk about like 12 personnel and Tennessee's loaded at tight end, and then they didn't actually have to use them. So I don't know where that goes. Corner, Colton Hood, huge addition out of the portal. He was a monster in this game. I think Tennessee had 5 sacks in this one as a whole. The linebacker blitzes were huge. Arian Carter and Edwin Spillman were huge in this game. I think the only concern I had, and something I said all summer, is I think Tennessee's defensive line's thin. And I don't think they lost a lot of bodies in this game. They were already down a couple guys. I am worried about the depth there. I'm worried that when Georgia comes into town in 2 weeks, what they're going to do, because Tennessee blitzed a whole lot more than they had the last 2 years. And I think they're going to have to, because Dominic Bailey and Bryce Eason did not grade well in pass rush situations for PFF yesterday. Joshua Josephs was really good. He's your best defensive lineman this year, but Caleb Herring, I don't think, had a great day at Leo. Their they have an amazing future. Like there's a bunch of blue chip freshmen and redshirt freshmen on this Tennessee roster, but the guys who are playing a bunch of snaps, Jackson Moy got banged up early. One of your starters and defensive tackle, he didn't return. I just kind of worry what that looks like because Syracuse, when people look at, and I've seen this a lot in message boards of like, oh, Tennessee, they held Syracuse to, it was like 2 something yards per carry. But that's not really true because when you're looking at the box score stat, that's incorporating Steve Angeli's sacks, and he has like minus 34 yards in this game. So it's not really accurate in terms of what the yards per carry given up in this game. And Syracuse sneaky ran on Tennessee in a way that a lot of teams just have not been able to do the last couple of years. So I have it in front of me now. Yassine Willis, he carried the ball 23 times for 91 yards, 4 yards to carry, 3 touchdowns. Will Nixon, 9 carries for 33, almost 4 yards per carry. So you basically gave up 4 yards per carry, but the final team total was 2.3. So it's a little bit of a misnomer. And I'm not saying Syracuse ran all over Tennessee, but Syracuse did have some success there. But
yeah, those two would have been 32 for 124. Like that's 3 touchdowns. Like that's pretty solid.
Yeah. So I just think that's something to keep in the back of your mind. But I think Joey, I heard Tony Basilio talk about this earlier over the weekend in his recap. And I think it was Will Heflin, friend of the program, who mentioned this. But I think, and I agree with this, Joey is going to win Tennessee a game that Tennessee should not win, whether that's Georgia, Florida, or Alabama, because he is going to take chances. He is going to have this tempo rolling. He's going to be on one. Like he seems like someone who's going to be on a heater. He's fearless. He is going to be a gamer and steal a game Tennessee should not this year. But I also think, man, he got away with the pick 6 in this game where it got deflected the line. But you saw a Syracuse player, like he was so upset because he saw it. He read the whole thing. It was coming across. And if that ball does not get tipped to the line, he's taking it back to the house. And I think it was in the red zone for Tennessee in that one. But he misses high a lot. He's not accurate. Like he was at 50% for most of this game. So I think he's going to cost Tennessee one. I think it's going to be one of those where, oh gosh, what just happened? Like Joey's got like 2 picks, or Joey's just kind of unraveling in this game. But I also think he's going to steal one. Like I do agree with that take, but Joey is going to be more up and down, I think, than we've seen the last couple. But I also think it's exciting. And I think he had a great showing overall. And I think he's going to bring tempo back. And I think Tennessee is going to have a whole lot more juice in the passing game than they've had the last 2 years, which is something Tennessee has desperately needed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'd say if you're a Tennessee fan, you're probably pretty satisfied ultimately with week
100%. 100%. Like Joey Aguilar, someone made the point, and I agree with it. Aguilar is a better fit than both Milton and Nico were for this offense. I think Aguilar looks through one game was a good fit for this offense.
Nico didn't have a great week.
No. Speaking of not a great week, the Clemson Tigers go down for the second time since 2014 at home. LSU, another big stunner, kind of at Death Valley here, the other Death Valley. What did you make of LSU? Kind of a convincing, dominant defensive win over the Tigers.
I definitely wouldn't call it convincing. I mean, 17-10.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.